Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and this is now our second working group for today, May the 6th, working group number 7, as WeOwn.Network is building out our AI for real estate through or by WeOwn.Academy. And here on the screen, we've got our Google Docs. I'm actually going to grab a link. This document is getting pretty tab heavy because we're grinding. Like, let's take a look. I mentioned working group number 7. And here we go. Those are the 7 different conversations that we've had. And yes, we're using a template here, but let me copy in this link so that you can all grab the link so that you won't get your way lost. So link to our document, link to subtab in our Google Docs. And I'm not going to unpack hopefully everybody in 2025 has used Google Docs. If you haven't, whatever. Anyway, scrolling through our agenda, always going to talk about our FELG culture, fun, earning, learning, and giving. And scrolling down here to our agenda, you can see here, don't have a whole lot of agenda prepared, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about all the things that have transpired since our conversation earlier today. But that being said, gonna just pause real quick and see if Tyler or I Am Lotus has anything that we would like to focus on for our working group number 7 here tonight.
No, I don't have anything specific. Just what we talked about before.
Got anything, I Am Lotus? I don't see a mic opening up. If I don't see one.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, great. So let's actually just take a look back here at our last working group as far as set up custom domain for our welcome input form. So let's actually open up an incognito window. So let me just grab this link here off of Signal and see what we've got. Now, this form hasn't been updated with all the details, but one of the things that I did do was update the look and feel a little bit. And we're at forms.weown.academy/welcome. And this is something that we will likely update, but AI for real estate by WeOwn.Academy. And this form is really geared to be after somebody has committed to participate. And when I say committed, going back to our goals, and this is where we're putting a lot of the meat and the potatoes in the document here, the subtab goals and FAQs. And I'm going to just do a real quick refresh on our content. So, and I still need to update some stuff here. We were talking about Hacker House literally during our working group earlier today. We pivoted from Hacker House due to my concerns around a USPTO registered trademark for Hacker House. Anyway, I'm not going to unpack all of that. So scrolling down here, talking about the form. So this is some of the stuff that we're wanting to incorporate in the form. So, and this is something, setting this form up at welcome. So I'll say discussed on a comment here. I like using the comments, discussed during pre-launch working group. I'm going to just start using WG for working group 07 comment. All right. So this is, and I just want to take a pause to thank Tyler for jamming through all of this stuff. And this is something that we will get great at through this peer learning cohort model, AI for real estate. But anyway, going back over here, one of the things that I want to talk about is, and I'm going to put a little timestamp on here for 9:31 p.m. Mountain Time, discussing our We Own.fm podcast. I've been thinking about this podcast for a while. And this is where wanting to really do a season format. And let me actually just grab here real quick. Because wanting to do the first season, wanting the podcast to be WeOwn.FM, and nothing here to see yet. Let me actually just literally just registered this domain earlier today. This wasn't a cheap domain. .fm is commanding a hefty premium in 2025. This domain was like 90 bucks, about 90 bucks a year, and no discount on the front side. But anyway, .fm is a podcast. I like it because it's a really nice short domain. And this will be interesting to see what we own as far as our ecosystem evolves into. And just to unpack that a little bit, like one of the things that I've been working on updating is our link tree for WeOwn.Network. So if you go to WeOwn.Network, it'll go here to real estate and cooperative ownership for everyone. I am really liking this tagline because I think it really explains things enough where people don't have to come away asking, I don't really know what that means. Now, the cooperative ownership, like, let's be honest, in our dominant American capitalism model, cooperativism is largely non-existent. I'm going to say non-existent. There are still some legacy pockets of cooperative ownership in some legacy places like New York and other places that really predate American capitalism, but American capitalism has been so successful that cooperativism hasn't thrived. Not going to unpack some of the reasons because there's actually some reasons why. We'll save that for another day. But anyway, uh like here's looking here. This is something that I need to update. So just an action item, note to self, update We Own Network, our link tree with our shift into We Own Academy. But the Google Doc down here is what we're working off of. So continuing to move, and let me go back to the podcast conversation. So this is where looking to do a podcast. And right now the thoughts are to run season one in tandem with our AI for real estate cohort. And just to summarize, our cohort model, we're looking to do a 4-month dynamic, really 16 weeks because we're really wanting it to run a full 4 months on a calendar month dynamic: June, July, August, and September. So this will be our summer cohort, and then we're looking to do a fall winter cohort for our second cohort, and then our third one will be a winter spring cohort. And part of the reason around the 4 months is that we're really wanting this to be in line with college semesters. So not going to unpack all the logic behind that. So anyway, as far as brainstorming some ideas for podcast guests, because really looking to do a two host, me plus a co-host, and want to create enough autonomy here because my goal with what we're doing, and this is something that I will say regularly and often, one of the things that's very different about myself, ourselves as Yonk's team as a founder, is that we're not really looking for an exit strategy. We're building community that we want to participate in. I personally love a peer learning cohort. I primarily learn by doing, and the peer learning cohort will really provide an accountability framework by facilitating, helping to facilitate this peer learning cohort for what I want to learn, but then also it will be a great mechanism for us to co-develop a AI agency vertical for real estate professionals. And this is something that we've been talking quite a lot about, is vertical strategic vertical AI agents. So anyway, let me go back here to our, and I'm going to actually do this here. Marketing avatars for this cohort, and I'm going to actually create another section here. We're going to call this podcast guests. We own .fm. And I'm going to make this, I'm fairly certain that this is a heading 3, but let me go up here and refresh my table of contents to make sure. All right, podcast guests. So um, let's figure out some potential guests. And the nice thing about where we're at here, like I would really like this to be lined up. And I don't know if we should potentially queue up some initial guests. I've heard that a really good strategy around a podcast launch format is having about 10 episodes queued up with doing a live stream format that we're going to repurpose into a podcast. I don't know if that will be that necessary. I think one of the benefits that I really would like to amplify for our cohort participants in AI for real estate is that they can participate as within this. So whether we target launch first or second week of June 2025. And the reason I say first or second week, June 3rd is uh, third equals Tuesday, uh, first week of cohort. The second week may give us a little bit more runway. And just to wind forward the calendar, this is actually Tuesday. So we're now 4 weeks out from June the 3rd. So anyway, let's see. Target launch. I think I might have a screen over here because one of the things we talked about doing a tools deep dive around particular AI for real estate projects. And like one that Tyler and I have even had conversations of. We talked about ruralreports.ai the other day. I'm just going to throw this in here for all my friends on the live stream. And just want to shout out, hey, Young Scrimmage, thanks for the GM. And this is something keeping tabs on who's watching the live stream. So right now we are discussing our potential podcast guests for WeOwn.FM coming soon. And specifically discussing real reports and throwing this in the chat so that everybody can look at that. So I'm going to just put this on here as a another bullet point. And that shouldn't have been a bullet point. Here we go. Realreports.ai. All right. Let me see if I can find this article. Does anybody, while I'm looking for this article, have a thought on who that we should include just off of the top of head? Tyler, I'm Lotus, iPad.
Bigger podcast, bigger pockets.
Yes, thank you for that. Denver, since we're in Denver, Bigger Pockets has a huge community here in Denver. And like one of the things that I'll do some research on, let me put this on here. Active contributors within biggerpockets.com. And for those that may not be familiar, Bigger Pockets has been a huge success story. It's literally the largest, and let's be honest, the proliferation of Facebook and Meta really shattered some of the legacy forum sorts of plays. But Bigger Pockets definitely bucked that trend, and they are a publishing powerhouse for real estate investors. And that's one of the pivots that we actually made is that we removed real estate professionals from this conversation because there's a lot of people that may be real estate investors that may not self-identify as real estate professionals. So love that. And this is actually something I'm hoping, and I didn't do a good job facilitating some conversations, but there's a Denver real estate meetup in Jackson's at Lodo tomorrow evening. So my friends here in the Denver area on Wednesday, May the 7th, I'm going to do my best to make it because one of the things that they're going to be talking about is the ADUs, accessory dwelling units. And that's one of the things that's going to be a key component in our single family upscaling strategy is finding single family homes that make sense to deploy an accessory dwelling unit. At our place here in North Glen, that will be unquestionably the very first brick and mortar We Own Academy. And yes, hear me out. We Own Academy, while this AI for real estate is going to be primarily virtual, one of the things that we're putting forward for real estate professionals, and while we abstracted away professionals, still going to be primarily geared towards real estate professionals. We're positioning this cohort model at about a $500 a month price tag. And that's one of the things that we're, again, largely going to be building this to amplify real estate professionals. But as somebody that's not a real estate professional, although going to lift up Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, again for getting your real estate license here in Colorado for the Yonks team household. So thank you for active contributors within Bigger Pockets. And this is something that we can definitely, and I'm going to just do this right now, make a little sub list because this is where we can add specific people here. And this is an action item. Let's, let's add more here over time. Okay, so what's some other podcast guests ideas? Because the goal here within the next couple of weeks before the first or second week is get these podcast guests lined up for June, July, August, and September. Who else has some thoughts?
Rob built.
Throw it in the Zoom chat if you could, because I don't know if I was hearing that. What is it? How do you say it again?
Rob built. I think
ROB?
Yeah, the channel is ROBUILT.
ROBUILT. And this is Robuilt channel?
Correct.
Nice.
He's a quite successful guest on Bigger Pockets.
Nice.
Airbnb guru.
So put that here, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay, great. And how would you summarize Robuilt channel? I create tiny places, unique spaces, and everything in between.
Yeah, he's like an Airbnb master. Instead of like going after traditional houses, he's building, unique stuff. Like this one is in Joshua Tree. Just finding out very unique situations that people pay a lot of money for.
Nice. So would that categorically be more, because I see up here on the header, my Airbnb. So is he really or they really like targeting high-end situations?
Not high end necessarily, but unique
Okay,
experience. Cool. And then he's trying to draw off business off Airbnb. There's a lot in fees, right? So he's like, go direct, and then you can get a better deal.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that. And that's one of the things that we are going to be very intentional about is creating ecosystem brands that facilitate peer-to-peer transactions. And that's part of the goal of We Own is to really foster cooperative ownership. Because I would love to have cool places to stay. And kudos to whoever did this photography because, that people I think we can all agree here in 2025 people absolutely pay a premium for experiences.
Yeah, and this photo is not Photoshop. Like the photographer, he waits like for the optimal, like he'll go out there for a window and he looks for the optimal window to shoot.
Yeah, well, and that's something I know that Tyler can geek out as far as she is the Airbnb champion and And you even wrote a book about Airbnbs, right, Tyler?
I did, and I'm actually super proud of it. So I'm just trying to figure out how to get it edited and published right now.
Well, and this is something, Tyler, I would encourage you to think about fitting that into the We Own branding strategy, and whether you even do something like We Own Airbnb. Like, here's me trying to give you some strategy that I would absolutely amplify and get behind. And that being said, we are absolutely planning, like I have said, we'll continue to say, like part of the goal of this AI for real estate is to really build an AI agency model for real estate people. And of course, we're primarily focusing on real estate professionals because that's where we can create the most value for a niche of professionals that's a global opportunity. And just to like take a look at let's do a quick Google search. I think I did this one. How many real estate agents in the US? There are approximately 3 million, and 1.5 million are realtors with the members of the National Association of Realtors. So well over 1 million people that were working, and that's just people here in the United States, that the goal is to create an AI agency model that they actually own. And this is something that will create some enhancers. Not going to unpack that here tonight, still having those conversations. But anyway, going back to potential guests. So this is something. Let's see. Anybody else top things come off the top of mind real quick? And that being said, anybody that's watching on the live stream, if you know a real estate person that's really rolling up their sleeves around AI and how to use AI for real estate, let us know. We're going to be doing some more research on this. These conversations are just getting started. As I mentioned, literally just registered WeOwn.FM couple hours ago. So this is something that really looking forward to doing, and we'll have more conversation. So one of the things here, this is an article. I can't remember how much that we talked about this article, but this is super fresh, not even a month old. Housing Wire. I don't know anything about the credibility of this particular website, but 18 indispensable AI tools for real estate agents. So this is very relevant to the conversation. 18 tools, and I'll just put a link here because I don't want to take time on this, and I'll do this for another bullet point. So let's actually just break this down. At a glance here, AI lead generation. So I know that we were talking about that being a huge opportunity for real estate professionals because, leads, if you go through a workflow, if you're doing a good job, leads should convert into more sales. So that's one of the things that probably a lot of real estate professionals are, how can I get more leads into my business? So they've got 3 tools. I'm not going to unpack all of these, but every one of these tools that's on this list is an opportunity. Uh, Now, could we get somebody on here from Canva? Potentially. But here, Lofty AI. I'm not sure what, and I think that this is actually not Lofty. And this is, anyway, I think that this is lofty.com. Lofty, close more deals faster for agents, for teams, for brokers. And this is categorically under the AI enhanced CRMs. So let me actually make this, I'm not going to take the time here on this tool, but this is just where a good example of where we've got a lot of potential to reach out and get some guests. Like here, Tyler, here's an action item, Tyler, that I'm going to delegate to you to get lined up as somebody from AirDNA. I know that you've used AirDNA. Are you still using AirDNA, or did we turn that off here with in 2025?
AirDNA is pricing per zip code. We were using Price Labs. That's pricing per night. So I've used AirDNA in the past. I'm familiar with it. AirDNA is really helpful when you're trying to figure out where to buy a property. Price Labs is what we were using. Price Labs is software that tells you when there's a parade in town or a holiday or something else that's driving up the prices. They reset your prices for you every day.
And that's called Price Labs.
Yeah, Price Labs. Yes, Jason, if you'll read my book, you will actually know every tool I reference in there. And yeah, we've got guests for days lined up. I've got so many tools. Yeah, we can do guests for days. That should not be a problem.
Yeah, and like the more that we can again incorporate it, whether and just thinking out, building out a schedule, like the opportunity of having a guest lined up for like on a Monday or a day that we're not doing in office hours or whatever. Like we don't need to figure out all the logistics and details, but looking forward to getting these conversations. And then like one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing is using AI and AI tooling to help repurpose the live stream into a nice polished podcast. So anyway, so we've done a good job here talking about the We Own FM. We've only got 7 minutes. I will always be respectful of everybody's time. And right now, I'm just going to let some people put some ideas forward as far as how we can really make AI for real estate by WeOwn.Academy, this peer learning cohort, a slam dunk.
Yeah, I think it's a great start.
And not sure if anybody on the live stream has anything. Do you, I am Lotus or iPad, have any closing thoughts before we bring this to a wrap here tonight? Not seeing any mics open.
I was
Go ahead,
waiting.
I am Lotus.
I was waiting for him to open his mic, but anyway, uh, I guess slowly but surely we're moving the needle forward. We had some twists and turns, but uh, really looking to see how we can, how should I say this? Promote this, monetize it in a way, and get it going.
Yes, and I was just gonna putting in the link here for our next working group conversation, working group number 8. We'll be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Same channel, Zoom live stream format where we're facilitating these conversations via Luma. And the goal is to just really get a framework that we can move forward with and launch. It's really looking like the pre-launch conversations are going to unfold here in May of 2025, where we're really looking to flip the switch to a launch mode. And it looks like we're going to be doing that through AI for real estate by WeOwn.Academy. And on that note, I'm going to just bring it back to the homepage here, ai.weown.academy. This is where you can find the Google Docs and working on getting some more things set up at weown.academy. Literally just registered that domain this morning as a part of our WeOwn ecosystem at WeOwn.Network. But anyway, I'm going to stop screen share. I'm going to go on mute and let anybody that wants to wave us out of here. GM, GN, good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.